How's it, everybody? Welcome to the inaugural episode of the How's It Cousins podcast, where we take a look at the unique people of the world. We talk about them, we relate to them, or we relate them to you. And either way, we just have a fun time doing it. But today, we're actually not talking about the unique people of the world because we're getting meta with this shit, right? We're going to talk about why the hell we want to do this crazy idea. We're going to talk about the show. We're going to talk about crazy shit.
Okay. How's it, Chris? Are we talking about the podcast? Because if we are, I am down to talk about that. Let's do it.
Aloha, Alvin. Thank you for dropping into the meta of this show.
Okay, yeah, man. It's always good to chill with you. Let's do it.
Awesome. So before we get into the meta show, I will remind everyone that we are part of the How's It Network. You can check us out at HowsItNetwork.com, and you can listen to this show on all the popular podcast services. Alvin, do you have anything that you want to plug before we dive deep into this?
Yes, I am AlohaAlvin, and you can find me at AlohaAlvin.com.
All right, let's start with giving you guys a little bit about your hosts. I am HowsItChris.
Hey, what's up, guys? This is AlohaAlvin.
And just for a little background, I mean, we've known each other for, maybe 20 years or so now? I mean, we met back in school as, kids, basically. And we've been friends for a long time. And
yes, it's true.
Yeah.
It's true.
We've hung out, we've been real close for a long time. But there was a period in the middle, after graduating high school, we went to different colleges. I actually moved, away from home. And we didn't really talk a whole lot, from then till I'd say recently even.
Yeah.
A number of years. And it's not like we hate each other or anything like that. I am horrifically bad, admittedly, at keeping up with people, horrifically bad. It's something that I've been trying to work on and trying to get better at. But yeah, from, my late teens through, even now, very, very bad at keeping up with people. But when we had this idea that, hey, let's try this podcasting out, the one person that I thought would make a great co-host, definitely Alvin.
Cool. Thank you, man. Okay. I would like to say this because of what you're describing. So I have this thing, I call it crop tending. And what that means is, say I was a farmer and I had 50 crops. Well, you can water the first 10 and you're good. But if you don't water the back 5 over there, they're just going to die out. So crop tending is essentially watering multiple things and just little bits of dabs of water so that way nothing dies and your whole farm does well and it's prosperous. I told one of my friends that once, that whenever I hang with him, it's kind of like crop tending. And he's like, oh. And I think he found it kind of...
Was he not offended?
Right? Yeah, I think he found it a little offensive, And in retrospect, I guess that makes sense. But one, I was trying to tell him how my philosophy on that works. But also, two, it's like, dude, if I didn't do this, I would never, ever see you, ever. And the funny thing is, I have a different friend. Let's just call him Blade. Anyway, he and I don't hang out much. But then when we do, it's cool and it's fun. And I think he thinks, oh, we don't spend much time together, which I agree with. But then in a way, it's also like crop tending because I see him more than almost anyone. The reality is I'm always working on something. And if I'm not crop tending the person, it's kind of bad. That means I see them never. I have a friend, I told him, bruh, I need to see you more than once per year, aka on your birthday. It needs to be more than this. And then he agrees, as everyone does. And then whether or not it happens is another story entirely, unfortunately, Yeah, so I don't fault you. Most people are like that. I go out of my way to actually meet up with people and coordinate with them. That's something I do. I make an effort. And the reality is that's not common. So I don't blame you at all. That's very normal. You were busy. I was busy. That's just how it is.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of the way it went for a number of years with us. But the point of this is that on this show, the topics we'll cover, the things we're going to get into, these are really kind of lost conversations over what would be maybe a decade or more of years that we weren't. I mean, we text or talk every once in a while, but it doesn't
Yes.
definitely wasn't as common as when we were hanging out a lot before.
Yes.
So it'll be interesting to see how this plays out. But I think that it'll be entertaining for you, the listener, to kind of come with us on this journey as we're catching up, going into a bunch of these crazy topics. Hopefully, we were right in that the chemistry is there. But I think it'll be fun. Either way, it'll be a fun time.
Yeah, I agree. I agree. Good stuff. Oh, you know what? Okay, I'm gonna add something to that. So Mark Rosewater is a creator of Magic cards, and he, of course, asks people about Magic cards, like players, old school, new school, whatever he asks them. And something he always asks them is, "Hey, you don't play Magic anymore. Why is that?" And then he said the most common answer he's gotten is not the game is boring or I was frustrated, I didn't like it, blah blah blah. It's always, man, I grew up. Like I got married or I had kids or I went to college. So the Magic card collection, whatever that game is still good, but other stuff happened. And it, like in our case, college. That's a thing. So
Yeah, no, I got you
yeah.
there. All right. Then with that, I want to talk about how is it cousins? Like, what the hell does that even mean? So, first off, I will reveal to the world that we live in Hawaii. So we're in Hawaii, and how's it in Hawaii is a popular greeting. It actually
Yes.
takes the place of things like "What's up?" or "Hey, how's it?" "Hey, how's it going?" So
Yes.
literally, how's it is it's a hello. It's literally a hello. In fact, and maybe you can say this, like if I said, "Hey, how's it, Alvin?" Do you even reply to that, or you just say, "How's it, Chris?"
Could be all kinds of things. Could be, hey man, what's up? Whatever. High fives, definitely. Fist bumps, all the good stuff. Totally agree.
So the difference is, I've spent a number of years on the mainland, and one thing that I do notice that is a little different is when I lived in other places and I say, "Hey, what's up?" I get a reply of, "Oh, nothing much," but I don't feel that happens here.
Ah,
So if I said, "What's up?" or "How's it here?" like there's no reply. It just
interesting.
literally is hello.
Yes.
It
Yes.
need no reply. It need nothing else.
Yes.
Do you agree?
I feel the same way. I cannot name this person, but I know there's people in my past where I would say something like, "Hey, what's up, man?" And then they say nothing much. I'm like, "Oh, I'm not asking. I'm
I'm
not
not.
literally asking
Yeah,
you what's above your
exactly.
head. Like,
Exactly. So, for
yeah,
those of you out there that don't understand that, it's just a thing we have here. It's you just get used to it. Like, what's up? How's it? If you meet someone from Hawaii and you say, "Hey, what's up?" and they just don't answer or they don't tell you anything, it's not that they're being rude. It's just that that's the way we think. Like, how's it?
yes,
What's up? They're all short form greetings because literally, and someone can at me if I'm wrong about this, but literally, like as people, Hawaii is kind of we'll say, melting pot of different cultures. As
mm,
people have come up, they've sliced and diced and beat the shit out of the English language as much as they can. So,
true, true.
so how's it doesn't necessarily mean how's it going. It kind of is, but really it just is, hey,
I
because
agree.
that's just
I
what
agree.
we made it mean.
All right, Chris, I'm gonna throw this at you, and actually the other people that are listening. Okay, so when I go on vacation and I go to some random ass place, I'll start talking to the locals because that's what I do. It doesn't even matter who it is. I just start chatting with them. So this is something I like to ask people, and I'm gonna ask people who are listening as well. And if you've ever heard anything else, I ask someone like, say it's okay. So say I'm in England or something, and I see a dude. He's just standing over there. I'll ask him, "All right, sir. I like to ask people what time is it." That's just how I ask. And my question to you is, how would you ask that? So here's a good example. Okay. So if I saw my friends, they'd be like, "Yo, what's up, man?" Or "Those are my dudes, those are my boys," whatever. There's all this terminology, local terminology. I remember asking someone once, "Hey, you're not from here, right?" And then she said she's from England or wherever. And I said, "Okay, I have a question for you then. Would I be a governor, a bloke, or a chap?" And she just kind of laughed because she knew exactly what I was saying. Like I don't know as a guy who lives in Hawaii, but that's how I think of it. These are unique things per location, and I love that we have House It. By the way, I don't know if it's ours. I feel like it's ours, but I'm not sure it's ours.
So I've actually Googled / Urban Dictionary this, and
Oh, okay.
it is attributed to Hawaii, but it's also
Ah.
attributed to South Africa. I've
Oh,
never
wow.
been to South Africa.
Okay.
If
Huh.
anyone in the comments or any listeners know about South African culture, please educate us. But
That's
yes, I have heard that it's also South African.
huh. Well, the reason why I mentioned that too is I had a friend before. He would tell me just random things, and he told me that, or I asked him about Hella Good. There was a time where Hella Good was a thing, and I said to him, "Yeah, what's up with that?" And then he told me, "Actually, that's California stuff." I'm like, "Oh, what's up?"
Northern California,
"Oh, is it?
as,
Oh,
as
see,
I
I didn't know
understand
that."
it. As I understand it, I could be
Fascinating,
wrong,
fascinating. Okay,
but yeah,
so his point was like geographically, we're not next door neighbors, but we're pretty much neighbors because minus the big ass ocean, we're next to them. You know what I mean? So then I was like, okay, I don't actually know what is ours and what is from someone else because I've seen shakas like on the news,
in
and they're not.
fact,
Yeah.
In fact, in recent years, I've seen it far more prevalently on social
Yes.
media in the news than ever before in life.
Totally
I've
agree.
seen it
Totally
way
agree.
more in like the last couple years.
Totally agree.
For those
See,
of you who
so
don't know what a shaka is, I don't even want to try to describe it audio. Just Google it, you'll see it. It's a Hawaii thing. Don't let anyone tell you otherwise. It is.
true. See that I truly believe is just us. I agree to that. I agree to that. Okay, Chris, I'm gonna slice this pie in a slightly different way. So you talked about how's it. I'm gonna talk about cousins for a bit. I don't know if I'm jumping the gun on your
No, it's
plans.
fine. No,
Okay,
like
okay,
the whole idea is to dissect it. Go ahead.
okay, cool. So, first of all, I definitely grew up with that. However, did not quite grow up with cousins. I grew up with cuz. What's up, cuz? How's it, cuz? Got a lot of cuz. I also don't know. Okay, you know what? Fuck it. Let's just say it's all from Hawaii because I don't know what's from. But you see a lot of cuz. So I remember someone asked once, like, "What's up with that? What is cuz?" Because they didn't know, they weren't from here. And I told them cuz was like cousin. And then it dawned on me that we actually have some other confusing things. A great one is bra. I forgot. I was playing something online. This was before Overwatch. I was playing something, and someone said bra, and everyone else is like, "What? Why are you calling him a brazier?" It's like, no, no. Oh my god. That's so awkward, right? Like bra, BRAH, not quite the same as something a woman wears. But yes, I I I love that. I think the word cousins is perfect for us. Again, not that every single listener everywhere is related to us because that's silly, but cousins, yeah, someone I care about. I care about our listeners. Someone I'm gonna be open with. I'm gonna be open with our listeners. It's all positive. So how's it, cousins? See, works. I like that.
I'll tell my story, and this is why the actual word came up. So recently enough, we had some family visiting in from the mainland, and to kind of give them the Hawaii experience, we took them to a luau,
Nice,
one of those
nice.
shows that get put up. And this time we went to a place called Paradise Cove, and that's out on the west side of the island. And they do the standard. They cook the food and they do a hula
Yes.
show. But for whatever reason, and this is, I mean, not that long ago. Lo- anyway, for whatever reason, during the show and the performance and the whole emceeing of everything, the cast members consistently referred to the audience as cousins. They
Ah,
they actually said, "Hey, cousins," and they might have even said, "How's it, cousins?" So I hope they didn't trademark that because too fucking bad. But anyway, they consistently referred to the audience as cousins, and I thought, huh, like I wonder if they're trying to convey a message to people that don't understand the culture of that is what we do. That
mm.
is how we speak. I
Yes, yes,
wonder. I mean, I get it, right? For at a luau, you're trying to like make everyone feel like family. You're
yes.
trying to
Definitely,
convey that message, and you're using
definitely.
a term that is used here, in that light, but not quite in that way. So
Yes,
I
yes.
was very curious on is that an image that the commercial Hawaii is trying to portray now? Now, I
Mm.
haven't done research on this, but I just find it interesting is all. So for those that don't quite know, we actually do use the term cousins and or like Alvin said, cuz a
Yep.
decent amount.
Yes.
Oftentimes cousin is, your cousin could be like a family friend. It's not necessarily your blood relative. We use auntie and uncle in the same
Yes.
way,
Okay, wait,
right?
Chris,
Go
I
ahead. Go
need to
ahead. Go ahead. Okay,
complain.
go ahead. Go ahead.
Okay. Oh, all right. So say I'm a little kid growing up in Hawaii. That's what I did. And then my parents are talking to somebody. I don't know who this is. This is another adult. I'm just a little kid. And then my parents will say something like, that's Uncle so and so. That's Auntie so and so. So I'm like, oh, thanks, Auntie, etc., etc. Thank you, Auntie. Bye, Auntie. Then later on, I will say something like, hey, so who is that? They're like, what do you mean? That's blah, blah, blah. I'm like, no, I know her name. Who is she again? And then my parents will say something like, oh, we were friends a long time ago, or we knew each other, neighbors, something like that. I, for years, thought some people were my aunts and uncles. That's so annoying.
But
I
they
don't know
actually
if anyone,
weren't.
no, they weren't. It's like, what the fuck? So
No,
that's my fault. I should have
okay,
clarified.
that's true. But so I can
For
echo
little
that. Like
kids?
as a little kid, right? We had a very distorted perception of what that meant. Like seriously. And it's interesting
Yes.
to think about now because now you know, and now it's like you understand the difference. But yes, I agree with you 100%. I had the same experience as a little kid. I had a total distorted view of auntie, uncle, and cousins, like what it actually
Oh
is
my
versus what
god.
the dictionary version is. Like 100% distorted.
Yes. Okay. I
But
just
okay, so anyway, the point is that it is a thing. It is a thing, but we definitely don't go out and be like, "Hey, cousin, how's it?" Like we definitely don't just refer to people and call them that like how the performers were.
mm,
So
mm,
it's not a often used term, but it's more like a referential thing. Like, "Oh yeah, that's my cousin." Even though they're not necessarily your blood relative, like you refer to
yes.
them as that. You don't necessarily call them that. Maybe some people do. Someone at me if I'm wrong. Like I
Okay.
don't. Maybe people do.
Well, okay, here's the other thing. Let's say you have a brother or you have a sister. You don't wonder that. Fuck, you see that dude every day. Duh, he's your brother. Or you see that woman every day. She's your sister, right? So there's never a question of that. And what I'm getting at is when I see a dude and I call him a bro, I know whether or not he's my brother. Especially, well, actually, no one tells you to call someone a bro. That's your own choice, which also makes it less confusing. But anyway, aunts and uncles, man, there's some aunts and uncles I don't see for like 5 years at a time. Okay, I'm sorry. I'm still complaining. As a little kid, I had no fucking idea who was actually my aunt and uncle. I'm just keeping it real here. That was crazy. Okay.
But okay, so you bring up an
Yeah.
interesting point because like you say, "Hey, bro," right? And
Right.
that's kind of a generic term. You know that person's not your actual brother, but that's just a generic term. Like here, like sup cuz. Cuz is that same generic term, but at the same time, cuz and cousin, even though they kind of mean the same thing, they mean different things, right?
Mm-hmm.
You would say sup cuz to one of your friends, but you wouldn't necessarily say, "Oh yeah, that's my cousin."
Exactly.
So
Exactly.
it's kind of weird, but the point is that we didn't want to call something "how's it cuz" because that would alienate half the world, more than half the
Agreed.
world,
Agreed. Agreed.
right? The point is that how's it greeting? We love it. It's unique to us. I think it's cool to kind of you know be open and welcoming.
Totally.
And cousins is just an interesting term because what we're going to look at with this show is the unique people of the world, be it a public facing person, be it a celebrity, be it a fictional character, just people in general. And the whole idea of cousins is that, in where we're from, that someone that you are, relatively close to, someone that you can relate to,
Yes.
someone that, even though they might piss you off and do some fucked up shit, like you kind of try to understand, like what, because that person is close to you, right?
Yes.
You kind
Yes.
of try to understand where they're coming from, what they're doing. You try to relate to it, because you trust that maybe that person might, is not as fucked up as they seem, or maybe that person meant or didn't meant things, you try to understand them at the very least. Maybe they are fucked up, who knows, right? But you do take the time to try to understand them. Why? Because they're your cousin, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Now, in the case that we're going to, like, there won't, we're not going to be able to relate to everyone, and we're not going to be able to humanize everyone. But yeah, I mean, we'll take a crack at it. It'll be fun either way.
Yeah, totally. For me, it's like, if I was telling somebody, oh, that's my boy, we hang out, whatever, good friends, whatever. The moment I say, yeah, cousins, instantly, you just say that word, cousins. Everyone in the room is like, got it. You guys must be real close, male or female. Yeah, cousins. There's just so much weight to it, and I love that. It's like a title to bestow. It's very nice.
Yeah, and like I said, we're gonna be looking at a whole bunch of people, and we may not even. I mean, we're not gonna be close to them. We may.
No, I know. Yeah.
Yeah, but in the case of just for discussion's purpose, we'll give them the benefit of the doubt to at least look at what they're talking about, what they're doing, and just see, whatever. And I think it'd be kind of cool.
Yes.
Hopefully, this is kind of a stretch, but I'm gonna try. Maybe we can get some actual real people in here too, like real people to talk to. We can kind of look at them and see how they do things. What's interesting about them, relate to them. Hopefully, relate them to you, the listener.
Chris, I want to clarify something, or at least I want to specify. So, absolutely, whoever we talk about or talk to or whatever, I would want that person to feel like they're our cousins. I want them to feel welcome, and I want them to enjoy. For me, when I hear How's It Cousins, I think of it as, like we're talking to the listeners. That's how I look at it. All of those listeners, cousins, boom. Just by virtue of them, because I mean, it takes time to listen to a podcast. Someone had to sit down and hit play, and I'm saying, yo, welcome. I appreciate that. You know what I mean?
Exactly. No, 100%. Yes, okay. Like I would want anyone listening to this shit to feel like, hey, you're that close to us. We're giving you an honest opinion. You're whatever you're hearing is what we actually think. We're not trying to hide shit from you. So, in that case, you're just like our cousin.
Yeah. Boom. Nice. Yeah.
So we'll see how it goes. I mean, fuck, I'm not sure like how entertaining this will be, but it seemed like a cool idea. I mean, like I was telling you before, I wanted to try talk about something, and this seemed like a good fit. Me personally, like I couldn't do like like we were saying, I couldn't do a video game podcast. I like video games, but like I don't like them that much. Like,
I get that.
I like them and I play them. I probably play them more than the average person, but I couldn't talk about that every single week on end. It bore the shit out of me. Like I like sports. I like movies. I mean, you have the things that you like. I don't know if you want to talk about that every single week after week, right?
Well, see, the weird thing is, okay, so I know a lot of people who would say, Alvin, you're definitely a gamer. And the flip side is, I know people who would say, Alvin, you're totally not a gamer. And what I mean by that is, do I play games? I think I do. I think I play a good amount. Actually, I don't play a lot. I try to play. I make time to play. But what I'm getting at is I play like 1 game, 2 games. I play them like crazy. You know what? I'm going to say this over and over because it's fun for me and I'm making fun of a good friend of mine. I once challenged my friend in Marvel vs. Capcom 2 and we went 89-0. I beat him 89 times in a row. Okay, I'm just being silly here.
Why the fuck did he keep playing?
See, that's why.
I mean, I've played you before, and I quit after losing like 3 or 4 times. Like, fuck you. Like,
well, okay. See, part of it is, ooh, wow, Alvin's got skill. Not really, but the other part of it is that guy. He can take a licking. He can keep fighting, and I applaud him for that. Anyway, what I'm getting at is clearly MVC2 was one of those games. Played that a lot. In my eyes, I'm a gamer. I play that a lot. But the flip side is, I played Mario Kart 8, I think, maybe a couple times, and then Mario Kart 64 a couple times. But apparently there were like 7 or so Mario Karts I've never played before. I've never played Call of Duty. There's these huge titles that I've never even touched. So it feels weird to call myself a gamer. Anyway, the reason why I say all that is I would have nothing to say if it was Call of Duty time, and you want to talk about that, I'd be like, okay, I know some FPS. I know Overwatch, but I don't know that.
Well, there you go.
If you wanna-
I don't play Call of Duty either. I mean,
Yes.
I've played Modern Warfare 2 for a little bit, but that's about it. Like I would not be able to tell you anything really worth it about that game. And that's the whole point I'm trying to make, right? Like
Exactly.
diving down any one of those paths would be way too much to go on a week by week basis. But I do find people interesting, and I do like the ability. I mean, I guess not ability, but I do relate to taking a look at a person or some things and just really dissecting it like that. That's kind of like the way I think. I
get that.
I feel like you're kind of the same way in some ways. You like to kind of break stuff down, like take a look at it, relate it to other things.
I always have opinions. See something on the news, talk to a friend. I always have thoughts, and yeah, when you talk about this kind of stuff, I'm totally down. I have comments and opinions. Yeah, totally.
Excellent. So, like I said, we'll see how it goes. We take this for a wild ride, and hopefully, it's entertaining for some people.
Yes.
All right. Hey, guys. Well, thanks for listening to the initial episode of the How's It Cousins podcast. I mean, this is going to be a show where we take a look at the unique people of the world. Like, we talk about them, all the crazy things they do. We try to relate them to you, the listener. And either way, though, we're just going to have a fun time doing it. If you like what you're hearing so far, you can check out the upcoming episodes on all the popular podcast services, iTunes, Stitcher, take your pick, all the like. If you want to see more stuff from us, you can go to HowsItNetwork.com. We are part of the How's It Network. All the cool stuff we're doing, you can check that out. Follow us on social media at How's It Network, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, all the like. Check out all our social media pages.
And if you like the Alvin goodness, you can find more at AlohaAlvin.com. It's geared towards writers, but on that site, I post like I speak. It's educational for writers, and it's fun for everyone else. Yeah, it's good stuff.
And if you want to see more of me, you can check me out on Twitter at HowsItChris. That's probably the best place to find me on the internet. Once again, we want to thank you for lending us your beautiful ears. And don't forget, it's not goodbye, it's see you later.